On the morning of April 27th, Carolina Tiger Rescue got a very special delivery.
Hi, my name is Elvis. Sorry we have to meet like this, but due to circumstances out of my family's control, they have had no choice but to leave me with you. Please don't hold any ill will towards my family. This has been a really hard decision for all of us. They all just want what's best for me, and this was an emotional and tearful goodbye for everyone. Please love me tender, Elvis.
It was obvious when the keepers looked at him that he really wasn't in very good shape. He'd had a pretty tough time.
Elvis had spent his life in confined spaces, and even in his new enclosure, paced in small circles for weeks.
He would go around his enclosure in small circles, I guess trying to adjust himself and trying to figure out exactly where the boundaries were. He wasn't quite sure how much space he had.
Elvis wasn't the first cat to be abandoned, and he likely won't be the last. Big cats are hot items in the exotic pet trade, and in many instances are easier to get and sometimes cheaper than a puppy.
The internet is full of sites where you can Google, I want to buy a tiger, or something similar to that. You can find them on the internet any day of the week.
There are as many tigers captive in the United States as there are in the wild in the rest of the world. And only 10% of the tigers in this country are in zoos or other licensed facilities like Carolina Tiger Rescue. So it's no surprise that these animals often find their way to Carolina Tiger through tragic circumstances. On February 21st, a lion bit a man at an unlicensed run-down animal refuge in Oakley, Kansas. The owner agreed to get rid of his animals, 3 lions and 2 tigers, in exchange for escaping prosecution. Apache and Nitro arrived at Carolina Tiger Rescue in April. Apache adapted to his new surroundings quickly and quietly. After years without proper shelter, his den box is his refuge. But for Nitro, it was a different story. Both tigers were sedated for neutering and blood work, but Nitro reacted poorly to the drugs. His core temperature rose dangerously high, and staffers had to hose him down with cold water.
There's absolutely a concern that an animal won't pull through once they get that hot. Their intestines basically can get too hot. They will not recover from it.
Nitro survived, but more problems were ahead. After just a short time, it became apparent to staff that Nitro had difficulty seeing.
He could turn his head toward noises and toward voices, but it became obvious fairly soon that he wasn't seeing what he was looking at.
In his unfamiliar enclosure, he struggled.
He was roughing up his nose because he would walk right up to the fence and hit it. And we were like, oh, you have to slow down when you're coming up to the fence. You can't just run into the fence, guy. You have to slow down. So we decided to start marking it with peppermint. So as we were marking it with peppermint, he would know that when he was coming up and smelling peppermint, he could slow down, and that was his perimeter.
Later, they swapped the peppermint for a sandy perimeter and paths leading to his favorite spots for eating and sleeping. And they gave him a food dish so he didn't have to search for his chicken.
Maybe because he is challenged with his sight, that he depends more on us humans to take care of him, and maybe that makes him more friendly, with all of the staff and the volunteers. And we do kind of fuss over him anyway. We encourage that because we like it too.
At last, Nitro is happy. And happy animals are what Carolina Tiger Rescue is all about. At Carolina Tiger Rescue, they have found a home.